the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze for days. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the back door.
5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the European Pro League Season 15. Today is gonna be a pretty short day. We only have one match ahead of us, which is gonna be between Yellow Submarine and Level Up. And I gotta be honest with you here, guys. I really haven't gotten through the latest patch notes, so forgive me for any pending mistakes I might make. I did skim through them, not gonna lie. I did see a bunch of items being returned into play, a bunch of items being reworked. My personal favorite so far from the itemizations would be the Ethereal Blade rework, as it's right now composed of Ether Lens and Ghost Scepter, so it's a very fun item, especially for spellcasters. Not only for the previous thing it did, but also now with the increased area of attack range, ability range, it's gonna be really, really fun. And yeah, because it's no longer having Kaya, it's not gonna get any of those bonuses. There's been a little bit of a rework for other items, such as the Harpoon, which has been a super abused item in the last patch. Also, Orb of Corrosion has been completely reworked, so now it has the passive armor with the attack speed. But in terms of heroes, we will see how things are gonna unroll. I did notice that Abaddon is coming back into play, it's a very, very nice breath of fresh air. And I do see from the trends that also heroes like Phantom Lancer are popping up against, but we'll see how things are gonna unroll here. And yeah, I was just about to say Leshrac also has been buffed up and already being picked up by Level Up. In terms of bans, we don't have Magnus, no Slardar, no Primal Beast, no Doom, Pugna, Kunkka, and Anti-Mage. So these are still some heroes that we're quite familiar with. Mechanic-wise, they are pretty strong, very annoying to deal with. And of course, they have great crowd control, all of these heroes that have been banned out specifically have a great initiation coming up. But still, both teams still really want to get rid of them. Lion will pop up first as a pick for Yellow Submarine. So I'm just gonna go through the heroes as they're being picked up to see what kind of changes they have undergone. So, Leshrac, increased damage from the Diabolic Edict, and a Lightning Storm now also slows attack by 50, which is just a really, really nice disable. Lion, Mana Drain now damages enemies for 100% of the Mana Drain. Okay, that's pretty aggressive, not gonna lie. So, it's a double win here. So it's a bit of a, gives a little bit of a Pugna-like feel to this hero. But also you're gonna be taking away a lot of mana as well. Base health regen also has been increased by 100% from previously from 0.25 to 0.5, and the talent Mana Drain deals damage replaced with 100% Mana Drain damage. Yeah, so wait, so the talent has been changed up, or the entire spell from its core? Kind of feels conflicting here reading it from the patch notes. Well, we'll see how it's gonna work out, and I'm generally really glad that this hero is back into the pool. I've really missed him. Like, this is one of the most fun disablers in Dota. And also, of course, the damage buildup with the Finger of Death. Even though we did see him, I think it was back on Monday or Tuesday or something like that. This hero was being picked up, if I'm not mistaken, by Monte? No, it wasn't Monte. I do recall seeing this guy sometime around. Might have slipped my mind though. But it was an extremely punishing experience that he underwent. And Nature's Prophet, one of the old-time favorites. Great hero when it comes down to having some sort of a global presence. Most probably now that Lion is in position 5, this is going to be a Nature's Prophet position 4, maybe even vice versa. Let's see, so he hasn't gotten any spell-specific upgrades or downgrades, just in a little bit of a decrease from the agility gain, and the base mana regen has been decreased from 0.75 to 0. So mana is going to be a bit more of an issue for this hero, but still his spells are pretty strong. He's going to be all around the map, being annoying as hell, throwing in sprouts left and right, and of course later on, as the game progresses, he's going to be a lot more present when it comes down to the push. And there's the Abaddon that has been growing in terms of has been trending a lot more since the patch unrolled. And what has he gotten more specifically is the Curse of Avernus now deals 30, 40, 50, 60 damage per second to the target when it procs for the duration of the curse. Damage interval is 0.5 seconds, and damage to buildings is reduced by 70%. So that makes him a very, very strong of a pusher. Feels like a very good combination here with the Leshrac, who of course has the not the Diabolic Edict.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, the Diabolic Edict spell, which is gonna
5
add up
seconds remaining.
to 2 heroes, which will be a very, very nice push as the game keeps on progressing. Going back to Abaddon, talent-wise, he has the level 10 talent replaced from plus 7 strength to a Aphotic Shield, providing plus 15 of HP regen, and level 15 talent, which was plus 55 damage replaced with plus 80 Curse of Avernus DPS. So that spell has received a double buff in some sense. So once Abaddon reaches that level 15, he's gonna be a lot more annoying to deal with. Hoodwink, a very good. Well, he can very much easily help out here, especially with the Sprout TP away from Nature's Prophet to throwing in the Bushwhack.
Team pick.
Acorn Shot bonus damage has been increased by, well, 5, 10, 15, and 20 respectively for each level, and that's the Acorn Shot, and Bushwhack the total damage has been increased at level 4, having plus 60. And this is a hero that I have personally really, really missed a lot, and that is Underlord. The Pit of Malice now deals 20, 30, 40, 50 damage upon rooting a unit, and cast point has been improved by 0.10 seconds, and Fiend's Gate cast point has been improved by 0.25 seconds. So it's a little bit of a scaling up, a little bit of an upgrade when it comes down to these spells, but overall, this hero's impact, and especially with the Nature's Prophet pick, doubles down on the global presence that Yellow Submarine are going to have here. Which means that they are missing out on their mid laner, they're missing out on their carry. Drum roll, it's going to be Morphling entering the play. So let's see what's been happening with the good old Morphling. He hasn't had any upgrades? No way.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, actually, Morphling hasn't obtained, so this is the same old good old Morphling that we've seen previously. Of course, it's going to be him and the itemization that are definitely going to be affected. So, going back to the items. What can he have here, which is going to make things better? I mean, Mjolnir is not usually a part of the build. Manta style, yeah, now requires the Yasha and the Diadem. So it's a bit of a base item change. Scotty has been changed up as well. Also, the E-Blade is an item that very well works with Morphling, so it's gonna be fun to see him blasting people around later on. Level up opt-in for choosing their mid laner before the carry, so it's gonna be the Pango. Any Pango updates? Yes, indeed. So the base health regen has been increased by 0.5, shield crash damage changed from magical to physical, and cooldown in ball form is now decreased to 9, 3, and 6, 9, 6, and 3 seconds respectively per level. Talent-wise, the level 15 talent, 3 seconds shield crash cooldown is replaced with plus 80 shield crash barrier per hero, and level 20 talent is from 100 shield crash to plus 125 shield crash radius increase. So It's
seconds
basically
remaining.
all around this one spell, so he's gonna be a lot more annoying, especially if he goes in later into the late game. So, final ban phase, we have, well, previously the Shadow Demon taken out, we have the Tusker taken out, also Puck has been removed from the play, which leaves to be the mid laner from Yellow Submarine to be picked up, as well as the carry for level up. So let's see, now that the anti-mage has been banned out, maybe it's time for, well, Phantom Assassin has had a pretty decent run, but she's been a little bit missing from the last patch. So what she has gotten is a bit of an intel gain by 0.3. Base movement speed has been increased by 5. Phantom Strike no longer provides lifesteal, and duration has been increased by 0.5 seconds. Fan of Knives damage type has been changed from pure to physical, and the max health damage has been increased from 16% to 25%. So it's a little bit more of a rebalancing rather than having this big nerf or big buff. So I assume she's not going to be that much of a favorite this time around. DK has been taken out by Yellow Submarine, and we're waiting up on the last ban from Level Up.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
What else do we have here? Which could be potentially a good carry. So last ban is going to be the Storm Spirit for Level Up, who has gotten a little bit of a buff now that the Static Remnant activation time has been decreased by 0.25 seconds. And there's been a talent increase, the level 10 talent specifically, from plus 10 attack speed with 110 attack range when overloaded. So, ooh, it's going to be Earthshaker entering the play here. So, which means that the Abaddon is more likely to be the carry play here for Level Up. I assume it's going to be Earthshaker off-laning. Or, hold up. So, Pango mid, Earthshaker off-laning with Leshrac, maybe? Or maybe it's going to be a Leshrac carry. It's going to be interesting to see either way. So Queen of Pain is going to be indeed the last pick here for Yellow Submarine. So let's just do a quick check of what's been going on about these guys. So Phantom Strike, Shadow Strike has been increased, Aghanim Scepter Radius has been decreased. Scream of Pain mana cost rescaled to a fixed 120 mana, and there's been a bunch of talent changes which we're going to be seeing as the game keeps on progressing. And for Earthshaker, Echo Slam damage has been increased by 5, and mana cost has been rescaled, so in total it's going to be about 15 mana less when it hits level 4. So let's just double check when it comes down to positioning of these players and heroes. So for Level Up, focus is indeed going to be the carry for Level Up. Mid laning, well, it's going to be Boranya replacing MTD. Desire is going to be making this a position 4 Earthshaker. As for Yellow Submarine, I really did forget about the picks at this point, but never mind, we'll see them unrolling. So it's going to be Satanic Erase, Absolute Massive Rue, and Ike. Satanic being position 1, and that was pretty much the countdown all the way to 5. And of course, in the good old fashion of EPL, we're going to kick off with a little bit of a pause. Hopefully it's going to be soon. It's going to be fixed up sooner than later. So let's just, yeah. Of course, for Yellow Submarine, things are a bit more clear how it's going to look like. So Queen of Pain going in mid lane, Morphling with Rui, they're going to be going safe lane together, and Ike with Absolute Massive off laning. Let me just double check if that's the case. No, my bad. It's going to be Ike going in with a position 5 Nature's Prophet and a position 4 Lion. When it comes down to level up, more specifically, so it's gonna be Vazia taking the Abaddon in the offlane position, as he is replacing BB3PX. Borania mid laning with Pango. Desire position 4 on the Earthshaker focus carry, and Lupicione as the position 5 Hoodwink. So, what could we be seeing here with the latest patch update? So, what level up have here in store? It's a lot of damage output when it comes down to tower damage, especially. Their global presence is not as strong as Yellow Submarine, which is obvious, as we said earlier, from the Nature's Prophet and the Underlord combination that they have here. But they do have a very good, rotation combinations that they can work out with. A lot of damage output even at the very start. A lot of lockdowns as well. So we have... of course, the good old Fisher, we have the Splitter coming up, so they could use this very easily for an early kill potential already. And of course, the good old Nature's Prophet going in with the deep warding at the very start of the game. Kind of, as much as I hate to admit it, I very much like how impactful Nature's Prophet role can be as the games keep on progressing. I mean, it's always a game of vision in Dota in one way or another, and this guy definitely does deliver. And of course, I really miss Thunderlord. With all due respect, I very much like this hero. Very strong control in lane, of course, and of course some very nice damage output. With these two, they have a very good lockdown potential, throwing in the Sprout into the Pit of Malice, and of course with the Firestorm. However, on the other side, we have, well, focus on the Shrek and Lupicione on Hoodwink. So they are also a force to be reckoned with a double stun potential as well. They can very easily abuse around the Sprout, and of course, it's gonna be, well, it's a good item. It's always been around the Quelling Blade, but it's definitely gonna save things a lot here for level up. And speaking of, level up have been chilling a bit more on the other side of the map, as yes are already, well, Yellow Submarine, yes for sure, are already going in with the deep dives. Rui missing out on his stun, not gonna be able to get anybody, but they do manage to secure 3 runes at the very start. The chase is still on, so it's gonna be just the top lane heroes, but eventually the stun is gonna connect. Lupicione is gonna receive some damage from the Blood Grenade. Nature's Prophet coming in from the backside, kind of baited them there for a little while. Rui looking pretty low, but they will manage to secure first blood. Focus stunned out for a little. Rui eventually will be bursted down, so it's gonna be a trade-off. Still Focus in danger. He's looking pretty low there. Ike juking between the trees. You can actually turn around and hit him, man. Will he go for it? No, he's just... Oh, eventually he will. Yeah, thank God. Yeah, it would have been really awkward if Focus walked away there with a double kill, but eventually Ike will secure 2 for his team already at the very start, and goes back bottom along his teammate King, who is receiving a lot of heavy damage from Vazia and Desire. This Earthshaker is definitely not giving up the pressure. And yeah, what else can we say about Morphling, which hasn't been spoken about in the previous patches? Very difficult for him to scale up, and it's very difficult for him to keep control in lane, and now especially versus the Shield, versus Desire and the Fisher. Like, this is a very aggressive combination that you can be facing as the Morphling. And so definitely early game is going to be difficult now, now that even we're seeing Ike struggling a bit when it comes down to survivability. So a Yellow Submarine will definitely need to be careful around here, as level up do have... I mean, I already said it, it's going to be a very difficult laning combination for them to face here, but eventually Morphling does scale very nicely. He does become this very strong hitter, and already kicks off things with the Falcon Blade. But still, farming is looking a bit bad here. But it's still minute 2. Very, very early to call things up. When it comes down to predictions, I personally like how durable Level Up's draft is looking here. However, looking pretty low. Okay, it was just the attribute, but oh, eventually the Fisher is gonna connect right in the middle of it. So definitely King is gonna go down here. Oh lord. Quite unfortunate, not gonna lie. But yeah, I personally do like Level Up's draft here. They have a lot more of a durable play. They do have a better, well, a lot more powerful play when it comes down to damage. I love the Leshrek carry. It's been ages since I've seen him in this position. Usually we've learned for this guy to be around the mid lane. When it comes down to Yellow Submarine, they're definitely not faltering at all. Their draft is looking also pretty strong, but it's gonna be very difficult for the Morphling to keep things up. And until he gets online, it's gonna be a very difficult mission for Yellow Submarine to get engaged into team fights a lot sooner. But up top, they're not giving up the pressure as Focus is under danger. Ache rotating to keep this Leshrek in check, but the blood grenade damage is gonna expire ahead of time, and Focus is looking like he might be safe. Runs around behind the Roche pit. Was spotted by Ache, so he needs to be careful. Nice little turnaround there. Not to be spotted around the twin gates, but needs to be careful as Ike is still chilling in the vicinity. Got spotted by both of the supports. Lupicione is locked in the lane. Yeah, Focus is gonna lose a lot of farming time here. As King, he's been left alone as well, which means that Level Up might be going in for an opportunity here if they choose to do so, but they're gonna leave it be. Oh, they're actually gonna double down around top. They're still chilling here. They really wanna focus down. All pun intended. Lupicione locked in the sprouts for a little while. They will find a stun here, but eventually everybody from Yellow Submarine have given up on the pursuit, as a lot of time has been lost, as King will finally be challenged here in the bottom lane. Silence. Oh, they're not gonna be able to connect, as Ike came at the best moment he could have to throw in the sprout and keep Level Up at bay. A lot of time was kind of lost there, but Focus wasn't taken down in the same fashion as King was. Mid lane, Borania going in for the deep dives versus FN, even though the damage is still ticking. FN going in for the deep dives, and he will take down the Pangolier in a very easy fashion. Blink, available. The last drops of mana were used up to make sure the Queen of Pain doesn't suffer as her mid lane counterpart. Up top, Roy is gonna be taken down. As well, Focus was once again the target here, but I assume Yellow Submarine went a bit too far with that one. And we're still at a very, very nice 3-3. Oh, wait, what? What happened there? Boranio finally managed to latch on to the Queen of Pain, so they're gonna even this mid fight finally. So it's a lot of aggression back and forth. Usually, from previous experiences, especially, I think it was Level Up back in Season 13, when they came into the new patch, they gave us I think about a 90-minute match or something. It was really fun to see. Hopefully that's not gonna be the case, as they are a bit more aggressive this time around. Borania a bit in danger. He will shield crash away, but FN finally gets the Sonic Wave. The ticking damage is there, but he used up the last drops of the bottle, and it seems like he's gonna survive the onslaught for sure. Desire chilling in the vicinity to make sure they're not gonna go in for the deep dives either. Even though they don't know this, but Ike is also standing in the sidelines waiting for somebody to just deviate away from their path and take them down. And now he has finally returned to lane, realizing that Focus is most probably left up alone. Around minute 7 is the Wisdom Room timers, and it's looking pretty low. Yes, Ike is gonna go down indeed. Still Focus is in danger. Gonna be caught up at the edge of the fire, but still the damage output is not enough to take down this Leshrek, who is looking ultra low, so he really needs to be careful. As... well, his friend Lupicione kind of walked away there empty-handed. As Rui did get the Wisdom Rune right in front of his face. The same situation did happen for Desire, so it's an even distribution of the Wisdom Runes. With no casualties on either side. And Desire coming up on top. As Focus has relocated, I think, around the mid lane, or has no, actually he's still in the top lane trying to farm as much as possible. And the fight is going on in mid as FN is having the Sonic Wave off of cooldown yet again, and definitely not afraid to use it. Already has the Falcon Blades in his hands. No reworks on this item, so it's still the good old health with mana regen and some additional damage. Yeah, things came to a standstill, passing the 6-minute mark. Those early aggressions have pretty much subsided at this point. King has had a little bit of a breathing time finally, as all Focus has a lockdown on around top lane to keep Focus protected as much as possible, as that's where Yellow Submarine are focused, but a little bit of a backup coming in from Desire, throwing in the Enchanted Totem, and the Malefice is not gonna stop anybody in their tracks. Desire, oh, it's just gonna TP away! Still getting some ticking damage from the Urn of Shadows, but completely wastes away the Sonic Wave coming in from FN. And even though he did have a haste rune there to keep things up, still it's gonna be Borania this time around, stopping the support in its tracks, and will get probably, well, the kill that FN was kind of looking for onto the Earthshaker, but Morania will be a bit more successful when it comes to that. Closing in sooner onto the Diffusal Blade, and that's gonna definitely make him a bit more annoying, especially versus the Morphling, who is always gonna be very dependent on his mana pool, looking pretty low on HP, but not willing to give up on any heavy hitting. He's gonna pop the ultimate, the borrowed time, onto Vazia, so this Abaddon will definitely be in danger. Nice little juke around the Sprout, but still looking low. The Phoric Shield is gonna keep him protected, but definitely is gonna force him out of the lane for a little while. Around the mid lane, FN is playing around with Desire, who got locked down with the Fissure. They're gonna throw in the Echo Slime as well with the Sharpshooter, and definitely is gonna be the Queen of Pain taken down for a second time in this game. Is it second time? Yes, it is indeed second time. Yellow Submarine definitely need to be careful on how they approach this. They're so far having these, well, they have these aggressions left and right, which kind of leaves them empty-handed more often than they're willing to be, which allows Level Up to definitely take that into consideration and build up towards their own advantage. However, the good thing that Yellow Submarine have here is they have loosened up the bottom lane a lot for King to farm up, and they have refocused their efforts onto Vazia, who does have the shield rune and the borrowed time available if things get hasty, and definitely that's gonna be the case as Ike locks him in the Sprout. They're gonna connect with the fish with the stun, but no, they're not gonna proceed even further. It's just once again the mission to make sure King gets farmed up sooner than later, and of course for him to get closer onto the Manta timing.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And until that happens, they are gonna be going at least on the reserved type of a play and keep Morphling out of trouble as much as possible. Rest of the team are refocusing their efforts once again around the top lane, probably in hopes of getting focused once more. They're not gonna find anybody in the upper triangle. Might have seen Loopy Stone, definitely this time as the Acre Shot was thrown out, but they're gonna expose themselves right under the Observer. Still, it's not gonna be enough for this poor old Hoodwink to run away. He's gonna get... I think it's gonna... This was the first finger of death damage. Yep, indeed, that was given to Rui. Or Rue. We'll see. I mean, you guys are gonna get angry if I say it wrong, but down bottom, finally, King is gonna be exposed as Borania decides to enter play. Pinball machine rolling up, and down he goes. Dude, will they find more Ike in the trees? And it's gonna be a double kill for the Pango. Very nice play here coming in from Borania, who has finally decided to leave his lane and allow for the rest of the team and himself to go in even further with the top lane, with the bottom lane push. But still, they need to be careful as up top, Focus is endangered. He's gonna get all the damage from the Sonic Wave. Still, everybody else from Yellow Submarine is low as the rest of Level Up come in through the twin portals. Desire in danger. He's still gonna get locked out, but not gonna fall prey. Rue running away, very close to the mines here. Yes, I recently found out that this place over here is called the mines, but that's not the topic right now. Rue in danger, jukes around the trees, but they're not gonna find him. Oh, he's gonna get spotted by the courier. Will he be greedy to go for it? He changes his mind, but oh! That was a very, very split-second decision. Throws in the splitter, but it wasn't enough to contest versus the damage of the Swashbuckle, which of course is at level 4, along with the shield crash, so this Pango is finally a very big damage dealer, as we can see here. Only 2 spells are pretty much required to take down a support back to 0. Minute 14, second wisdom runes are popping up. Lupicione in the danger zone. Ike thinks he found him there in the Sprout, but I think you should TP away there, buddy. Ike. Ooh, that was so freaking close. They are not aware that the Hoodwink is still lurking here. That was an uber close call. Like, this was basically don't breathe. Don't breathe at all. Don't even think. They can hear your thoughts. Kind of a moment.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
And yeah, there's gonna be once again
Is under attack.
the same distribution of the wisdom runes for both sides. So it's not gonna be anything, well, any big massive kills around that area. Up top, Vazia just keeping this Abaddon pressured up and draining all of his mana away. And meanwhile, oh, Ike probably attempted to find a side entry here into the lane to focus on the Abaddon, but Lupicione and Borania were there to greet him with a warm welcome and a little bit of a kick away back to the fountain. So how are things looking in terms of itemization? So we have one of the newest items popping up, which is the safety bubble. Equipped hero has a 100 HP barrier, which fully regenerates after not receiving damage for 5 seconds. Which is a really nice basic tier 1 item to make sure things are safe, especially for offlane heroes. Down bottom, it seems like the danger does keep up. Desire, 3 show up to greet him right under the tower. It's gonna be Borania also receiving a lot of heavy hitting. But yeah, the Fiend's Gate there definitely helped out with adding a little bit more of a pressure onto Desire, and it's gonna be the tower also claimed. Meanwhile, rest of Level Up are trying to find objectives elsewhere on the map, which is only gonna be the Lion.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
But even so, with the kill advantage going into Level Up's hands, they are still pretty close when it comes down to net worth. Tower-wise, this is the last tier 1 tower Level Up have for the taken. The Yellow Submarine just recently took down their first one, and I think it's obvious the damage output from Abaddon with the 70% additional tower damage coming in from the Curse of Avernus. And this is just, I mean, it's still fascinating that this is a passive spell, not even a toggleable spell. Super annoying to deal with, so if Vazia keeps this up with the Abaddon, definitely it's looking like he's gonna be banned out for next game. But still, too early to tell. Minute 17 into the game. 6 on to 14 favoring Level Up with only a 3k net worth difference in their favor. As Yellow Submarine still haven't hit these big items, so it's only the Vanguard, Skaya, Yasha, the base items popping in on their side. Manta Recipe is up for King, so maybe he can be a little bit more present here during the next team fights. But if Level Up do decide for that, as now there's the wombo combo of Focus and Vazia going in for the tier 2 tower. And even with barely any creeps in the wave, look at the damage output from these guys. They're just uber heavy hitters. Nobody from Yellow Submarine will be able or willing to contest that in any way, as mid lane has been under fire as well. Borania finding line for yet another time. And they got pretty close to the Queen of Pain there for a second. But it's not gonna be any additional kills in their favor. So what else can we see in terms of items here? As we're looking at Borania, he does have the Bling Dagger and the Diffusal Blade. The good old 2 core items needed for the Pango. Focus already on the Bloodstone with the Veil of Discord, so it's gonna be a lot more of damage output coming in and lifesteal in the next team fight. Oh, but still, wait, hold up, we might have something happening here. It's Vazia being left alone in enemy territory. They will proc his borrowed time. Anybody else from Level Up coming up? Lupistione will get a lock on to King. Fisher will connect on to 3, and all damage is coming on to Vazia, and eventually he's gonna be taken down. Echo Slam connecting on to 4, Borania entering the play, King in a bit of danger, but he pops the Manta Style to save his butt here. Still, Bushwhack, Acre Shot will get a lock on him, and eventually he's gonna be bursted down along with Ike. FN, mana still available, gonna blink away back into safety. Borania blinks in close to Rui, and once again, this Lion will be taken down. 3 for 1. Maybe Vazia could have survived that onslaught if Level Up showed up a bit sooner, but I think it's a very fair trade-off, which is still working in their favor slowly but surely. But they are willing to find more here. FN has been spotted, along with I could just TP it into the lane. He will take Desire thing with his Spirit Vessel and the Sprout. So it's just gonna be a support trade-off, a 4 for a 5. Not much, but it's indeed honest work. And as we approach minute 20, do any of the teams feel confident about going into Roche? It's gonna be a yes, Focus and Vazia, which really does rhyme with Invazia. So the invading mentality that Level Up here have is showing, definitely. Well, all pun intended, and that was a really cringe comment, but nevertheless. Orb of Corrosion and Solar Crest, and there's Lupistione coming in as well to help out. It's a slow melting Roshan, but the stacks are popping up with the Curse of Avernus. The damage increase output is there, and slowly but surely, without any interruptions, Roshan is gonna be claimed by Level Up. Once again, equal distribution of the Wisdom Runes for both sides, and Focus is gonna obtain the second life for the time being, which is definitely gonna buy him some time to complete the BKB here, and of course be a lot more of a bigger nuance as the time goes by. How is our good old Morphling doing? King, the Manta Style has been up and about for quite some time, Falcon Blade as well, BKB building into Scotty. Scotty has been upgraded, so it has been a recipe change, but it's still the same item we know by heart. Ultimate Orb, well, is basically the Ultimate Orb being changed up with the attribute bonuses increased from 10 to 15 and the costs increased by 750. Point booster is pretty much the same, so we do have the ability gain in some way back, especially that this item has been changed up An expensive base item, but it's pretty much used for all of the big spells. And whoa, they have found Lupicione. The Pearled Hoodwink is gonna get burned out once again, adding up to 3 stacks of the Finger of Death and an additional 120 bonus damage for Rui. And this line has been Omega punished as the game has kept going.
Radiant's middle tower
But he's looking good, especially now that he has claimed the Blink Dagger. It makes things a lot more easier for him to get in close and personal and evade ugly situations. Absolute massive. Vanguard has been going about for quite some time, and the Pipe of Insight has popped up, a great defensive item, especially versus spellcasters such as the Shrek. So definitely, this is the off lane build that I generally prefer and like seeing. And I mean, for people who have been watching EPL, they know how base they can be about how off lanes build up their items, and this is what I want to see. Basically, items like these which help your team more than just add up to, well, the individual gain.
are fortified.
As that's basically how I expect offlaners to be. And oh, Rui tried so hard to get back into the base from the side entrance, but he will fail to do so, allowing Level Up to claim the Tormentor for themselves. It is indeed gonna be the first Tormentor kill of the game. Lupicione looking a bit low there, but eventually they're gonna be taken down without anybody sacrificing themselves in the process. Shard claimed by
Radiant's middle tower
Vazia, who will get the last upgrade for, well, it's not the last, actually, it's the second upgrade for the Curse of Avernus. The next one is gonna be in 2 levels. Meanwhile, Borania finds a target, and it's Ike, who was trying to TP away there, but yeah, an entire Rolling Thunder is gonna be dedicated in his name. And there's no running, no hiding from this guy. And looking at the Pango, we already have the upgraded Shield Crash with the roll-up ability up and available. Already 25 minutes into play. This Pango is pretty much farmed up very nicely and will go up to building his additional items, such as the Basher, to make things a tad more annoying. Focus has the BKB already, the other items we have commentated about, and he has 1 more minute remaining on the Aegis timer. I'm gonna be going on to the Shiva and Hex right after. And the tier 3 tower under siege, absolute massive. It's just chilling on the side, can't really do much as the damage output from these two just keeps on increasing more and more, and eventually, with the Wrath of Nature, the Aegis is gonna be claimed, first life lost for Focus. But Yellow Submarine are not willing to defend this at all. The rest of the team are focused around
Dire's middle
in
tower is under
either
attack.
cutting the lanes or farming or something. The Glyph did scare Level Up a bit, even though they do have this deep vision here. They know what's up
Dire's middle
if
tower
things get
is
uber
under
hasty.
Regeneration.
I don't know, like, Yellow Submarine have been really passive when it comes to play. They haven't really popped up altogether as a team, which we've seen in different cases, well, in different games previously. This type of a reserve play could result in great in 1 games if done properly. Borani a bit in danger, but oh, that Fisher with the Echo Slam is gonna be so juicy, taking Rue and F and down. King forced to evacuate with the BKB. Maybe Level Up were allowed to farm a bit more than, well, than Yellow Submarine were hoping to handle here. They're gonna lose 3 altogether as Desire. That Fisher Echo Slam was so freaking juicy. They find King as well, who is gonna Manta waveform away. But even so, the second tier 3 tower is gonna be taken down. A second set of racks exposed. Vazia focused, and the rest of the gang, Vazia and Purania more specifically, are gonna focus on to the top racks. A bit more, finish up what they came from. And Yeah, it's just gonna be
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
the range Drax taken down, melee coming right after. King struggling to keep this up. He cannot jump in close and personal. Ike tries to cut the lanes, but that's something that Level Up are definitely anticipating. And they're gonna make sure this Nature's Prophet is not gonna be annoying. Ethan claiming the scepter upgrade. Sanjin Kaya has been up for quite some time. But still, this Queen of Pain has farmed, well, she's not actually that farmed looking at in terms of net worth. She has hit pretty much most of her core items, but I guess her effectiveness is not as high. Especially now that, well, we do have the attribute play back in game. But still, it doesn't seem to be helping her out at all. Yeah, all of her items are pretty much intact here. Let me just do a quick check when it comes down to the upgrades. But yeah, I'm gonna cut this. We're gonna be looking a bit more into details. As Absolute Massive has been taken down for yet another time. In Level Up choosing to invade the last tier 3 tower, Rui bursted into smithereens. The last tier 2 tower is gonna be burned down to 0. Buyback forced up. Level Up still keeping this aggressive as it's only Abaddon leading the charge. Borrow time still hasn't been procced up. And they're hoping for Yellow Submarine to maybe get in close and personal. Almost 3 times the kills. Favoring Level Up. It seems like Yellow Submarine did really underestimate their opponent, who have read up the patch notes unlike I have, and they're gonna try to go in for the backside aggression focus. Does see where Rui is. They're gonna jump onto Lupicione, who's gonna jump out of the Sprout, but it's not gonna be enough from the dagger damage and the earn damage. Sire jumping on to King. They will keep him locked out for a little while, but the damage output is still not there as Level Up are focusing on other targets, more specifically Absolute Massive, who tries to run away with the Blink Dagger. Desire in danger is gonna get bursted down to 0. Still, a little bit of a scattered play here from Level Up, but they are not giving up the pressure. Harpoon bringing Absolute Massive close and personal, and the tanky boy is gonna be taken down. Bottom racks have been cleared up, mid racks have been cleared up as well. And it's just this one ranged barracks remaining, and it's not gonna be a big challenge for Level Up indeed. And they have secured their Mega, so it's gonna be a runaway mission for them, leaving only Vazia here to try to play with his enemies a little bit more. He's gonna claim 1 life and lose his in return. Borania, nice little blink away. Still, Level Up are gonna call this. They have expanded everything in their arsenal for this Mega Creeps push, which is gonna be successful either way. Yellow Submarine have claimed 3 lives in the process, but it doesn't feel like they're doing a lot here. King has been scattered around the map. He hasn't really found this pick-off potential very well. Vazia has pretty much dealt as like the entire damage by himself compared to the rest of Yellow Submarine. And with that, they have 3 players at the top of the net worth chart. King, FN, and Absolute Massive pretty much slacking behind. But they're willing to go in even further out of their base. They're not willing to stick around with this mega creep mentality where they're just gonna wait in base.
Are scanning.
They're gonna try to find kills one way or another. But it's a very difficult mission there. And it's a lot of time lost. King is gonna try to snatch a couple of creeps in the process, but I think they were kind of spotted here by Level Up, who will pop a smoke of their own. And definitely King is now spotted. Bonania engages, a little bit of a hex there, but the sharpshooter is gonna land eventually. The break is gonna land. Rui caught in the fissure. Desire with the echo slam. King out of mana completely, and GG is gonna be called out by Yellow Submarine, as they will lose this game 1 versus Level Up. What can I say? Level Up have brought in the textbook knowledge. They have read up the patch. They know what's gonna be good in here, and they got this very, very brutal wombo combo, which was the Abaddon and the Leshrac. Yellow Submarine, they opted in for these a bit more classical picks. Even though they did have, I mean, I really like what potential they had as Underlord and Nature's Prophet, but unfortunately they failed to utilize, as the slow scaling carry doesn't really add up to the fast-paced game they could deliver. And all they did was they were trying to slow things down as much as possible, but still it was not enough for this Morphling to enter play. Stargazer, aka Effin, was doing a great job at controlling the mid lane for the time being, but eventually those sneaky Queen of Pain plays didn't really go that far. Rui got completely obliterated. Underlord didn't really even get far with his durability items. So yeah, Level Up did deliver a lot of aggression. They kept up the pressure as much as possible. And with that, they have claimed this game 1, ladies and gentlemen. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be back with game 2 very, very soon. So let's see if Yellow Submarine are going to, reevaluate their strat. Definitely they're going to be banning out the Abaddon and the Leshrac here. But of course, you ban some, you allow something else to come by. But yeah, we'll see what the future holds. See you later.
I remember the feel of the air touch my skin. Am I real? 'Cause I felt something leave from within. I feel empty. Have I got nothing left to give? Am I living? 'Cause I only felt alive with him. I'm driving in the night, the hood down. It's when I feel alive, when no one's around. The darkness deep inside comes to light now. But it's alright, it's alright. I can break no heart if I got none. I won't break apart if I stay on the run. But sometimes in the night I miss the sun. Why did darkness come? I felt my body break, my heart give up. Why did darkness come? I felt the lightness shake me into hell. Why did darkness come? I wanna stay in here where I belong. Why did darkness come? Something keeps waking me up. Why did darkness come? Why break my heart, give up? Why did darkness come? I felt the lightning shake me into hell. Why did darkness come? I wanna stay in here where I belong. Why did darkness come? Something keeps waking me up. Nothing left to give. It's the part of the darkness.
And with both teams being ready once more, we're back, ladies and
seconds
gentlemen, with Game 2 between Level Up and Yellow Submarine
5 seconds
of the
remaining.
European Pro League Season 15. It was a very fun game for Level Up Game 1, as they went in with this wombo combo between Abaddon and Leshrac, and these heroes were scaling very much. The play from Level Up was
10
really nice,
seconds
as Yellow
remaining.
Submarine
Dire team
really
back.
didn't have their time to shine at all. The Morphling didn't manage to get anywhere close to being farmed up. He didn't really came
Radiant
anywhere close
team
to
back.
being impactful into team fights. And I mean, I did see this in chat, which was a very nice pointer that the Morphling never had the opportunity to morph into any other player. So he was just playing like AFK playing all time long until eventually that passiveness really did show and led Yellow Submarine to losing this game 1. Hopefully they will be having a little bit of a better chance this time around, as both the entire wombo combo from Level Up has been banned out. They personally took away the Leshrac. Yellow Submarine fortified that around taking away the Abaddon from play. So no Nature's Prophet, no Abaddon, and no Leshrac will be seen here in game 2, along with Tuskar, Pugna, Slardar, and we're waiting up on the 7th ban before we reveal our first picks.
5 seconds remaining.
So yeah, it was a very slow cooking game, which, I mean, I assume that Yellow Submarine were kind of hoping to take this into late game. They were playing very, very passively, and I did start talking about, that moment that some teams do choose to walk away from team fights early on in the game, thinking that going into the passive play is gonna bring them a bit more later in the late game. But unfortunately, that was not the case for Yellow Submarine, because even with their idleness, even with their passive play, they failed to hit any good item timings. They were pretty underfarmed, and even when they got around to getting those big items they needed for team fights, Level Up were already getting around to taking their third or fourth big items. And eventually we saw how that ended. It was pretty much a stomp. Yellow Submarine opening up with the Primal Beast feels already a bit more promising, as let me just check. Like, we're gonna be doing this until we get around how the new patch works out. So for Primal Beast, there have been some improvements onto the rock throw specifically, so the scepter ability. So max travel time has been decreased by 0.25 seconds. The distance, oh actually no, it's a little bit of a rebalance, not that much of a buff. So the fragment flight distance has been decreased by 75. Fragment flight time has been decreased by 0.1 seconds, and fragment impact radius has been increased by 35. When it comes down to the Shadow Demon, which is always a good counter for the Primal Beast to stop the Pulverize in its tracks.
5 seconds
Disruption illusion damage has been decreased, from 30, 45, 60, 75 to 20, 30, 40%. But now they have a bonus damage 40, 50, 60, 70 decreased by outgoing damage reduction, and the Shadow Poison projectile speed has been increased by 200. So it's gonna be a lot more of that being thrown around.
remaining.
A little bit of a modification onto Disruption, but it's still that good old
5
hero we know in
seconds
heart,
remaining.
who is definitely there, well, so far to stop disruptions in place. Maybe even some other channel spells that Yellow Submarine could be bringing in here, so they need to be
Radiant
careful on
team
how they
pick.
play around this.
Dire
So no
team
Lions, no Kunkas, no Marsas. So that's a hero we haven't seen in ages. The Mars and the arenas have been a bit more around back in spring, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah,
10
definitely not gonna
seconds
be seen
remaining.
here. Hopefully we're gonna see him a little more into the
5
future.
seconds remaining.
Tiny pick by Level Up.
Goodness.
Always good with the Avalanche toss combination. What we have as a modification is the tree grab with the bonus base damage increased from 20 to 20, 25, 30, 35. Cooldown decrease, so it starts off with 16 seconds. It still once again ends with 13 seconds, but it's gonna make sure he's gonna be getting a lot more trees earlier in the game. And the Aghanim Shard now increases damage of thrown trees by 100. Along with that, we have the Grow ability modified
team pick.
with the toss bonus damage increased by 100 at level 3. So it's once again starting off with 100, but then it scales up to
Radiant
250
team
and 400. For Yellow Submarine, we have a nice counter for the Shadow Demon. So another gripping figure, but it's kind of gonna be awkward as I was kind of hoping that that Yellow Submarine were gonna avoid going in for these channeling spell heroes versus the Shadow Demon, but they're gonna be opting in for Bane
5
here,
seconds remaining.
who's definitely a hero that utilizes a lot more from the attribute gain items. I mean, with the ultimate orb and stuff like that. When it comes down to his spells, the Brain Sap damage heal has been increased.
Team pick.
Well, the starting off has been increased by 25, eventually it still goes up to 300. The mana cost has been rescaled, so starts off with 100, ends with 160. Well, it was like that, now it's gonna be 120 to 150, and the Aghanim Shard
10
now
seconds
decreases
remaining.
cooldown by 3 seconds. Nightmare cost range has been
5
increased
seconds remaining.
at the start from 425 to 500, but they still end at 650. And this is a hero we haven't seen in a while, that being the Death Prophet. Her silence now also slows enemy movement speed by 10, 15, 20, and 25% respectively per level, and talent-wise, the level 20 talent Crypt Swarm applying 50% slow is for a second is now replaced with a 15% silence move speed slow. So in addition to silence having the slow, it's gonna have 15% more at level 20. The good old Luna, great farmer, very heavy hitter, but very, very squishy. I mean, Luna is always a double-edged sword hero. She can be, as I said, she can be
10
very fast
seconds
farming,
remaining.
but eventually, if level up don't have a
seconds
strong
remaining.
offlaner here to try to mitigate the incoming damage onto Luna, she's always going to be taken down first. Definitely, they level up should consider building something onto her, like a Lincoln Sphere, to try to make sure she doesn't get caught up into the Nightmare, the Fiend's Grip, my bad, from Bane. Whereas for Yellow Submarines, Yellow Submarine, minus the plural, the Primal Beast could be both a mid laner and an off laner. But we'll see right now, so... Ooh, Faceless Void. Oh god. Oh god. I mean, this is a hero I love to hate a lot, because in contrast to Luna, he's not farming as much, but eventually... sorry. He
10
does scale up to
seconds
be this insane carry hero, throwing the orbs left and right, but I'm always scared for the fate of his hero, and especially picking Faceless Void into a Death Prophet kind of feels awkward, because she's going to be throwing in her ultimate everywhere, and even I think it can also survive through the Chronosphere very easily. So Yellow Submarine once again do have a carry that they will need to protect at all costs until he becomes viable. If they want to play this right, they will need to engage the Faceless Void the second he gets the Chronosphere to try to add up to the kills, because going in, the one thing we've seen from previous patches, going into the woods and farming AFK is gonna cost you a lot more than just being engaged into combat. What Faceless Void has obtained in the last patch, 7.35, is a strength gain increase by 0.2, talent change, level 10 talent has been, the time dilation DPS per cooldown has been increased from 67, and the slow at level 15 has been increased by 2%. Let's see if Luna has gotten any change. Absolutely none, so she is the same old hero from last patch. Weaver has only obtained a little bit of a talent change, a decreased strength at level 10 by 1, and level 25 talent. The Germanite attack no longer applies to attacks made via Shikuchi with Aghanim's Shard. And for Yellow Submarines, they're gonna wrap things up with a puck to make sure things are gonna land a bit more into the Chronosphere, but even so, it does feel like this draft is kind of all over the place. They do have a very strong single target damage output. They do have a very good hold on to whoever they find around the map. But when it comes down to team play, it's always gonna be very important to find the dream coil, the good team coil connections of 2+ heroes for them to land into the chronosphere. But that's always gonna be a good indicator for level up, who are gonna try to avoid that from happening. Tiny is a hero who is always willing to jump into your face, throw things around, which means that when he shows up, Bane is gonna show up as well. Shadow Demon is gonna be there to counter it.
Choose your hero.
But yeah, looking at this draft, so Borania is gonna be taking the DK in mid lane. Focus is gonna be playing as Luna, and Vazi is gonna be a Death Prophet offlaning. That's really interesting to see. I mean, of course, yeah, I kind of neglected the play here from the Siphon Life, which is a very, very strong spell for survivability and to keep things up. However, it does feel that level up are doubling down on aggression. Yeah, they do have the DK, which is gonna be pretty tanky, and once again, they do have a very strong dual hero combination when it comes down to tower pushing into lane control. But they need to be careful. They need to play this draft Omega fast, because that's a very, I mean, it's a very good decision when it comes down versus the Faceless Void, who will be AFKing as much as possible. And looking at the previous game playstyle, Yellow Submarine are going to be trying to make sure that happens, but it feels like it's going to be a lot of lost time. So Yellow Submarine do need to be a little more engaged at the very start to try to find these kills for King, and eventually just, you know, try to buy themselves as much time as possible. But yeah, even so, let's see what the future holds, ladies and gentlemen. We're up and ready to go with Game 2 between Yellow Submarine and Level Up. Will history repeat itself? Will we get a 2-0, or will we proceed to Game 3? That's the question that we always ask ourselves before every game. But we'll see. Evan has proven himself a very dynamic player here. Last game with Queen of Pain, he's had a lot of fun making sure Borani is kept under control. But this time around, he is facing a lot more of a tankier hero, especially, I mean, the Dragon Knight specifically. With the Dragon Blood passive ability, he's gonna be getting that armor coming up sooner than later. And of course, as we are always gonna be having those fights around the tier 1 tower, he's gonna be claiming the armor addition bonus. So it's gonna be quite difficult. So Yellow Submarine will need to try to focus themselves up a bit sooner around the mid lane, maybe even sooner than the minute 6 timer, to try to keep the Dragon Knight in control.
Lost in the woods, are ya? The battle begins.
And we're off. No aggression around the bounty rooms.
Look out for fallen rocks!
And yeah, both teams are gonna settle into their lanes. Lupicione once again with focus into the same lane, so it's gonna be a Luna and Shadow Demon combination, which is gonna make sure this hero is gonna be a bit more protected at the very start. On the other end, we do have the Primal Beast along with Rue, and Rue is already getting a little bit of an aggressive treatment, as Lupicione is not backing up on using the disruption onto him, more aggressively rather than defensively. And it kind of leaves focus into the mercy or lack thereof of coming in from absolute massive. So you need to be careful. When you have the Weaver as a position for support, he doesn't shy away from being Omega aggressive. But yeah, pretty much one Century Ward is gonna pretty much disrupt him from doing anything a bit more serious. Illusion damage and a little bit of a Blood Grenade are gonna push him away for a little while. And I love this little Christmas spirit that we have amongst these two with the very, very cute cap. So, however, up top, it's looking like Desire is the one who's gonna fall first. His life is in danger. Ike looking pretty low there. The Siphon life is there, and oh, just a bit of damage away is gonna. And we could have seen a trade off here, but this time around, Yellow Submarine are gonna claim the first blood by taking away the Tiny. The Curved Swarm, yeah, the 85 damage is still not looking strong. Like 85 damage at level 1 compared to 165 later on. Like this spell very much scales, but it's very, very useless at level 1. Still, Ike has a little bit of a better spell combination here, the Brain Sap with the Nightmare, with the Enfeeble, my bad.
Radiant's courier
Gonna
has
keep
been
things
killed.
a lot better for King to farm up here. But still, if level up cannot find the Toss Avalanche combination, which they're not opting in at the very start here, it's gonna be a very difficult start indeed, which is something that definitely King is gonna thrive on with the Faceless Void. But getting around those level threes, things are gonna be a little bit more difficult. Toss back onto Ike with the Siphon Life. Blood Grenade is gonna connect, and they're keeping up the pressure. Bane is looking pretty low, but once again, the damage output will not be enough to claim the life of Bane. Middle lane, Borania versus FN. Of course, you always have a little bit of more of an advantage at the start as Puck. A, because of the illusory orbs, B, because of the range, and C, because of the face. So, trying to find the nice timing to work around the Breathe Fire is gonna make things a lot easier. But already at level 2 of Dragon's Blood, Borania will definitely have a better time in keeping things in check. But eventually, I think that things are gonna start turning around, especially once the Elder Dragon form is claimed, so things are gonna get a lot more aggressive, because you can always evade one spell with the phase shift, but even so, Puck is a very high mana dependent hero and always very dependent on the shift. If he does manage to get the shift to go through to survive through the Dragon Tail, which is still not being used up, so it's a Breathe Fire and Dragon's Blood combination at the very start. It's very difficult. FN has been missing from the lane for quite some time to try to get a bit more in a bit more of a stable position when it comes down to his resources, where Borania has pretty much claimed level 5 and is peaking at least a half a level above FN here. So in a matter of no time, we're gonna be seeing the Dragon form coming up, and the aggression coming in from the Corrosive Breath as well. And FN is playing this Omega aggressively, and not sure how far he can go with this one. Yeah, this is the only window he can get of freedom before any more stacks, any more levels pop up on the Dragon's Blood. Borania is somewhat struggling as well when it comes down to mana. But the tankiness is just gonna keep on building up. And one more minute before we see any help coming in from the supports. And level 5, in contrast to last game, this is feeling a lot more stable. Both teams are focusing on to keeping their lane safe, keeping things secured. Nice little disruption is gonna stop the onslaught in its tracks. Focus even looking pretty low. They are gonna turn on to Rui. Without the Pulverize, it's a lot easier to deal versus the Primal Beast. But even so, it's a very, very tanky boy here. We're just gonna wreak havoc upon the Luna as much as possible. Still focused upon the Lunar Blessing leveling. It's gonna take a bit more time until she starts focusing on to the Moonglaves. Once that happens, it's gonna be a free farming extravaganza for her. When it comes down to Yellow Submarine's counterpart, aka King, he's looking very decent, very stable so far. Getting... well, let me just check the... hold on. The last hits. They are looking pretty alright. He's farming very... his farming is pretty stable right now. But even so... uh-oh. Flipisione got kind of
Dire's
countered
middle
there,
tower is under attack.
as Weaver is being omega aggressive about his supporting. But yeah,
Dire's
now that the
structures are
top lane
fortified.
once again has been loosened up, both teams are focusing a bit more around the mid lane as the Dream Coil will be dropped up. Still, Boranya doesn't fear the tower, and of course with a double damage rune he will be able to claim the life of FN. Desire, Enfeeble is stacking up on him. Ruid getting pretty close there, but the Germinate attack is not gonna be enough to take down the Tiny. A nice little rotation coming in for a level up as they finally have claimed their first kill of this game. And finally, oh, wait, where did that happen?
That's for your
Ethan.
impertinence.
Rotating down bottom, just to take down the life of Lupicione, as he did claim his revenge against Rui there, but a very deep dive is not gonna result in any positive results. Still 2-3 early on in the game. It is indeed Boranya who is topping the net worth chart. Already there's the Dragon's Blood doing its havoc. And of course, every minute and a half we're gonna be seeing this. And 1,600 gold already, bringing him even closer to the Bling Dagger. And yeah, this is a super aggressive hero to play with, not gonna lie. Both Aik and FN are there to at least try to keep the wave away from the tower. But Level Up have doubled down on their positioning, and they will eventually claim the tier 1 tower in the 8th minute of the game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The wages of fear.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Up top, ooh, a little bit of a fort push on to King, as he has turned back into farming around these side lanes. Bazia decided, well, he didn't decide to rotate. Like, in the back of my mind, this hero is, it feels like he went from mid up to top to keep up the pressure, but yeah, because of the Exorcism play. But yeah, now that the Exorcism is also present in the game, Level Up are committing into taking down their second tier 1 tower 1 minute apart from the previous one.
Tower is under attack.
And it's feeling very aggressive already. Level Up are choking Yellow Submarine away, well, a bit more into their territory, opening up the map a bit more onto themselves. And Desire is not even feeling scared. I mean, he is getting a lot of damage. And the Enfeeble kind of animation kind of broke in a way, but that's okay. That's what always happens in these when a new patches unrolls.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah. Things are finally gonna start to shine for Focus, as already on the level 2 of the Moonglaze, level 4 on the Lunar Blessing, the damage output from Luna is starting to build up. And right now she's just gonna be rotating around the lane and around the side lanes. Even so, Level Up have lost the bottom lane tower a couple of minutes ago. Well, yeah, less than a minute ago, thanks to the creeps, most probably. They are gonna have the Luna a bit more under control themselves, but they're not gonna go in for the deep aggressions and deep dives for her just yet. Whereas Level Up are trying to keep things in check for well, Submarine, Avalanche Toss with the Siphon Life, Ike looking pretty low there, and he's gonna die. King does have the Chronosphere available, but it's still a long way for this Faceless Void to have any type of a damage output. Does have the Mask of Madness available, but even so, he's not that big of a threat just yet. And down bottom, somebody has been spotted. It's Absolute Massive who has kept things up in pushing this bottom lane to try to have at least some sort of a counterweight over level up. He will be going in for the Blade Mail, of course, so it's gonna be an initiation Primal Beast here for the jump into the Pulverize. And of course any incoming damage being reflected is a bit of a plus here to try to keep things up until the Faceless Void shows up in game. On the other hand, we have Rui, the position 4 Weaver support here, going in for the defensive items for the game here with the Pavis and the Solar Crest. And I like that this item came back, the Royal Jelly, a bit of rework, a 10 stack tier 1 neutral item, which consumes all charges. So this is a little bit of like a second magic stick available. For every 10 seconds, this little jelly gets +2 health and +1 mana regen per charge. But if you get hit or if you get attacked by Roshan, it's gonna drop down to 0. So it's a little bit of a passive, you know, magic wand there. But still, we're gonna see it in action later on, as the first Chrono Sphere has been thrown onto Vazia with the coil as well, but the Siphon Life has connected onto one Disruption coming in to save his buddy, but it's not gonna be enough versus the Onslaught, as a 4-man effort was thrown into taking away the life of the Death Prophet. And keeping Death Prophet under control makes sure you keep at least one source of the push under control. However, Borania is pretty much having a free game at this point. He has completed the Blading Dagger, getting close to the Midas plate, which personally I always find a bit redundant, but even so, I think he does have this open window to try to expend a bit more money onto a money obtaining item. Toss into Avalanche, Ike, easy peasy. With the Elder form available, level up, well, they do have the chance to go in for the last tier 1 tower if they choose to do so. But maybe they're just gonna go on the reserve lines or try to find some hero running about. Minute 14, as the second Wisdom Rune's popping up. Nice dust into the orb. They will silence Rui for a little while, stun coming by, and boom. Easy peasy, no time lapse for you. As we have seen how pesky Weavers can be in games, especially once they get a bit more durable with the Solar Crest and maybe some other item to keep them alive. Throwing in the time lapse at the right moment buys a lot of time for your team, and it creates a lot of space for them to farm up, but even so, Rui still kept under a lot of control. But we'll see how things turn out. King, a bit in danger here. He's forced all the way back into under the tower. Do we have Exorcism available? Answer is yes. Which Vazia could use up here. And yeah, with Borania also coming into the picture, a little bit of a silence. Nice time lapse for the save into a TP, but he's actually gonna cancel it. He's not willing to walk away from the lane. And meanwhile, Yellow Submarine are gonna try to find the back approach here. Along with Roshan, they're gonna take the same elevator to the other side of the map in hopes of catching level up behind. They do have eyes on Borania, Absolute Massive. The smoke has been broken. Nice blink away. Vazia still has the Exorcism up, but needs to run away from the fight there. Still, Yellow Submarine, even though they did have a very good positioning there, all 5 were at very close proximity to Vazia, Borania, and Lupicione. They chose not to proceed, as they are, I assume they're kind of feeling scared at what might be lurking on the other side. And with the level 2 Elder form, things will be becoming a bit more disgusting. In the middle, Desire's life is on the line, but it's gonna be an opening for a level up once again as Borania commits a jump onto Epen. Silence with the orb. They're gonna lock onto him before he manages to land on the other side. The phase did keep him into position long enough for level up to use that open window and taking him down. Ike spotted once again. He's gonna get stunned out, tries to throw something to keep himself alive, but he's just gonna prolong the inevitable. Oof. And King was super close there.
Top tower is under attack.
As this is the open window that level up can be Omega aggressive about things. Level 2 Dragon, as I said, already up online. Can keep up with the chase, can keep up with the tower push. And it's gonna take another 30 seconds for him to get it back.
Dire's top tower.
So every 100 seconds, it's time to push, it's time to be aggressive about this. Tier 2 tower up top claimed already in minute 17, and even at a 7-4 score so far, Level Up are controlling the map as much as possible. Lupicion is gonna get scouted out by Ru, and Iffen throws in disruption onto himself just to buy some time over the earn damage, but it's just not gonna be enough. Still, space created for the rest of the team to make a run for it.
Tower is under attack.
Even though Effen and Ike are still trying to keep it up, a blind throw of the... what the hell was that? He just threw it in blindly there. They still will manage to get Desire from the trade-off, but it does feel like a little bit of a waste of Dream Coil. Borania once again in Dragon's form, waiting for the Blink Dagger to get off cooldown. Maybe to try to commit for a jump for it. Yes, he will. Finds Ike and instantly bursts him down into smithereens. Now Yellow Submarine are gonna be forced to run away
Radiant's bottom tower.
before any other lives are gonna be claimed by Level Up. So minute 18, let's just check on the itemizations. Doesn't look that far off the ordinary. We still haven't seen this new items popping up. But yeah. And this is a very, and always a classic tactic that we do here at EPL. When there's nothing happening, you start talking gibberish and eventually you're gonna notice that something is up. And in this case, it's Level Up claiming Roshan along with the Exorcism. Yellow Submarine are trying to scout out somebody, but it seems like they're just having a wild goose chase. They're not gonna find anybody. But yeah, returning to the new upgrades, we do have the Tiara of Selimani as a new item with plus 6 mana regen, the return of the Ring of Tarask as well. And when it comes to the upgraded items, what do we have? Can I even recognize them? Oh, holy. Okay, it's gonna be the Parasma, which pierces debuff immunity and adds up a lot of stats. 45 intel, 40 attack speed, 8 armor, and 300 projectile speed. What else do we have? There was another one which I liked, which was a combination... yeah, the Chondra. A combination of Phylactery with, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's a Crystallis as well. So 50 damage with 200 health, 200 mana, and plus 8 to all attributes, and a passive, a double passive, Empower Spell, and Critical Strike. I'm pretty sure there might have
Dire's
been
bottom
a
tower is under
third one,
attack.
but maybe I'm just
Radiant's top
confusing it
tower is
with
under
the base items. But even so, they still haven't popped up. One of them is a not that big of a late game item, but I assume it's gonna be an item which is a bit more prioritized by spellcasters who primarily use the phylactery, such as Zeus, but we haven't seen Zeus in a while. What else did we have? I mean, it's just these two returning, well, one returning, one showing up into the game as for recently. And we also have new neutrals, so we did speak about the bubble in last game. There's also the Royal Jelly returning and additional tier 3, tier 4 items. One of them I kind of liked, which was this cage item that you could, once you get like, was it like 180 damage? you return damage onto the people that attacked you. At least 2 targets are going to be targeted, prioritizing heroes. So it's just like a little bit of a aphoric shield. And it's going to be interesting to see on Abaddon to have like that double counter burst popping up. And on bottom lane, Focus's life is a bit in danger. They're going to throw in the Fiend's Grip, but Vazia on the back lines with the silence is going to make sure that doesn't go through all the way. Still Yellow Submarine not willing to fully engage, just level up or fortifying their position this time around Focus a bit more. Who does have 3 minutes available onto the Aegis timer. They're gonna even utilize the disruption illusions to find their possible targets. Absolute Massive with the charge finds Vazia. And that's it. He's just gonna throw himself. The rest of Yellow Submarine are not gonna keep up with the charge. So it's just ganging up around Focus to keep control of this lane, to keep things pushed up. Scan will be thrown from Yellow Submarine, who are gonna get scared off there for a second, thinking that level up are gonna go in from the charge, as they are well, they did try to go in for the Tormentor kill there.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And back in middle, Borania once again with the Elder Form is gonna blast through Ike. Well, the last seconds of the Elder Form. I mean, how many times? Yeah, it's been 5 times. I think that Borania has pretty much single-handedly farmed himself all of the kills, thanks to Ike being in the close proximity. Level up are gonna claim the Tormentor away from Yellow Submarine. Mid lane, a little bit of a fight between FN and Borania, as FN does manage to snatch the shield rune. But definitely as hell, he's scared of this Dragon Knight, who does have the Manta available, Midas available, gonna go in for the Scepter BKB upgrade. Of course you want to go in for the Scepter here. Unlock the level 4 Black Dragon, which is insane. Meanwhile, Vazia is going in for the Guardian Greaves build here with the Sanjin Kaya. Already has a Solar Crest, and I like how they made this choice for offlane. And Ike, once again, loses his life very unfortunately, as Level Up claimed the last tier 2 tower and go in for number 3. Along with the Exorcism, Fortification is not available, so they can keep up the push. And here comes the red dragon. Yeah, it's still not even a blue dragon, to add up a bit more pressure. And these 3 are just insane when it comes down to bursting. There's the glyph being used up to try to prolong the inevitable, but still the Exorcism is off. They're gonna lose the dragon form in a little while, but so the barracks are going down as well. Range barracks are gonna stay alive for a little while, but nope, not for long. The illusions are gonna make sure they go down to 0.
I'll take that.
Regeneration! Radiant are scanning.
And it's gonna be a double smoke from both sides, even though Level Up have thrown a scan there and are aware of what might be happening. Still, not sure what Yellow Submarine can do here. They are once again falling apart because of their passive play. Still, the Faceless Void hasn't fully engaged himself in combat. We've only seen like 1 Chronosphere so far being used up. He does have the base combination for farming, does have the BKB, and will be going in for the Scotty right after, but still at this point he is not still that close to the farming speed that Focus has. Absolute Massive tries to run away with the TP, and of course it will be successful. This BKB is the first time it's being used up, and it's in a pretty safe manner. A little bit of a ping issue, but apparently nothing too serious. But yeah, this is a very nice team play from Desire. I mean, from both teams. Like, the one thing that I love about EPL and the teams that we have here is that it's the generally very friendly approach between the teams. Yes, every now and then there's a little bit of a flame going around between them, but it's always in good spirits, and both sides always understand the challenges that the other one has. They are very respectful. They are very, polite. And I love this energy. Like, I'm really glad to be here for as long as I have been. And each season is just getting better than the last one. But yeah, going back to the game, Level Up. They are still doing a very, very good job. They're actively pushing, pretty much taking down one set of rags, going in for 2 more. Yellow Submarine, what do they have to do here? They really need to find the right setup. They really need to find the right opening. 1 minute possibly remaining till Roshan comes back, so definitely they will need to try to contest that as much as possible. Rue trying to push out at least one lane closer into enemy territory to have at least one of the Roche pits secure for Yellow Submarine to try to get a hold of it. Rest of Level Up and rest of Yellow Submarine are around the top lane. Toss out Avalanche is going to be thrown onto Ike, who's going to get bursted down by the Lunar Beam. Effen also very, very close by. Oh, he's going to get scouted out. Dream Coil dropped onto Borania. Instant buyback coming in, but Effen is going to blink right into Vazia, who's going to siphon him up for a little while. Absolute massive. Throwing in the BKB to try to keep himself alive with the Pulverize, but it's just gonna prolong the inevitable once more, as he's not able to survive through the Exorcism cooldown. King in the backlines finds Lupicione and is gonna... Oh no, he's not gonna TP away! He's gonna be tossed back as well. Oh lord. A lot of effort being thrown onto Lupicione, as Level Up are gonna claim the lives of 2 very important core players here. Right before the Roche timer. Borania has obtained the Black Dragon form. And yeah, they're going in for them tier 4s without anybody to try to counter it. Borania once again jumps onto Ike. King forces out a buyback, still has the Chronosphere from the last team fight, and he will throw it onto 2, connecting onto Focus and onto Borania, but still the damage is not enough for him to do anything about it. Vazia keeping things up, Absolute Massive throws in finally a good Pulverize, which is gonna take down Borania. Focus is gonna survive for a little while, but not for long. Once again, 2 are being taken down. Level Up are gonna be chased away from enemy base, and now they're on the chase. Rui throws in the Swarm to try to detect somebody, but Vazia is the target that they want here. King still keeping up the pressure, a second away from the time jump, and he's not gonna commit to it. Instead, they will throw themselves onto Lupicione, and which Vazia will take that as a chance. And nice little toss avalanche. They're gonna take King down for a second time, 90 seconds without a buyback. Rue still keeping up the pressure, wants to claim the life of at least somebody, and he's just doesn't have the time lapse available. They don't have any vision onto him anymore,
Is under attack.
so the least thing he can do is try to have this pesky Weaver play
Dire's middle
and
tower
create at least some space, some distraction for Level Up, not to force themselves onto well, the throne has been pretty much exposed. They do have everything they need to commit for one last push. Exorcism is away for by 5 seconds. Egg spotted up. Borania once again with the jump, keeps up the chase, throws in the stun. He tries to throw something into the defense here, but the silence with the avalanche is just too much for the poor old Bane to handle. And they're going in all the way. Glyph of Fortification is available. They have 30 seconds until the return of Faceless Void, who does have Chrono around the same time, but they're gonna call it GG unfortunately here. It was way too much for them to handle. Absolute Massive is gonna lose his life seconds before the Ancient goes down. a level up with a 2-0 victory. Game 2 right under 30 minutes. And it was a clean sweep, a very, very clean play from level up in both games. Yellow Submarine, as good as they were, a bit better in this game too, but still, they really need to reassess their strategy. They really need to reassess their approach here, as they are still maybe clinging on to the previous patch meta. I mean, both times level up doubled down on the tower push. They doubled down on aggression. They kept everything under control, and they had these very fast farming carries. They had this very fast farming cores and everything. Like they did an impeccable job, and how they chose their draft and how they pressed on very nicely with it, which ultimately punished Yellow Submarine's drafting for both times, as they went on for the slow, a bit more passive play to try to assemble their strength and forces probably later on in the game. But that was not the case. I mean, you cannot really go for a slow farming carry. Both times it was the Faceless Void, it was the Morphling. It feels like I'm putting a lot of blame onto them. Like, they played very nicely, but they pretty much got outdrafted, and level up did see that as an opening. And these guys are known to be super aggressive, and they're known obviously not to take any chances away from themselves. And with that, they have locked on to a brilliant 2-0. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are done with the day. It's been only one match for now. We're going to be coming back tomorrow with 2 games. So we're going to be seeing KZ facing off both of these teams. So starting off at 5 o'clock CST versus Yellow Submarine, and at 8 o'clock KZ versus Level Up. So I hope I see you guys then. Thank you very much for tuning in to chat. I'm Michael Base Defender, your caster and production for this evening, and I bid you a very nice evening.
Devil in a red dress, call 911 on my killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress, call 911 on my killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, call.
Breathe you in like oxygen. Oh, in an otherwise suffocating world, I'm reaching out for arms, I'm drowning in the open-ended love we're making, girl. Exhale the past, inhale the future that lasts. Change my heart, change my mind. For the last time, wanna believe in the life I've led. I don't wanna leave another word unsaid. You know my heart will follow you in tomorrow. In tomorrow. Holding on to memories that we've shared. My evidence you once really cared.